Hey everybody, it's Erich Davies. I'm the creator of Eerie Hour with Erich. No, I'm not at my set right now. We're actually, I don't know if you can see it, we're about to go through Necropolis here in Indianapolis. So, wow, this is going to be an adventure. I'm with our executive producer, my brother Chris, and our occasional on-site assistant, his fiancee Megan. And yeah, unfortunately, you cannot follow us inside. They do not allow filming. So yeah, you're not going to experience the adventure with us. However, I am here to introduce tonight's tale. It is one of many guest storyteller segments that are going to be on season 3 of the Eerie Hour with Erich show. Now, who's it going to be? Unfortunately, I will not reveal that. You will have to watch the video for yourself in order to find out. Now, tonight's story deals with very mature themes. I'm going to put a warning on this video, but just to be on the safe side, I guess, viewer discretion is heavily advised. It's advised nobody under 18 watch this video because, it contains a lot of disturbing material in it, okay? With that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's episode of Eerie Hour with Erich.
Aren't you scared?
Put together a jaunty tune. Good evening and welcome to Eerie Hour with Erich, Season 3. I'm not Erich, I'm Erich's dad. And tonight, we hope to regale you with a tale of terror. This was a submission from a Canadian author, and we hope that you find it pleasure. So, let's be off to my parlor, where we'll be more comfortable, and you can hear it in all its splendor. Well, welcome back. As you can see, I'm more comfortable in the parlor. As I said, tonight's story is called The Screams by Kieran Amero. I must warn you, if you are squeamish or faint of heart, this may be a tough story for you. But enjoy and like what you hear, I hope. Do you believe in the afterlife? In the beginning, I wasn't quite sure of the whole idea. As I grow older, the idea seems so positively ingrained in my head that I practically relish the thought of a world better than this. When I was growing up, I constantly felt the weight of the world crushing my shoulders. It was the month of my 17th birthday when I decided to end my life. I'll never forget that day, for it was that day that it all changed. When I woke up that morning, I just knew it was going to be my last day alive. The pills they gave me did nothing to stop the pain, and those doctors all told me it would simply get better. To them, it was just another day at the office, dealing with a screwed up teenager who needed pills shoved down their throat in order to survive the bullshit called life. I hate myself for telling this, but what I did was so simple, it was almost ingenious. I pretended to be sick, something I was very good at by this point, and waited for my parents to go to work. Once they were gone, I got undressed and climbed into the bathtub. My cocktail of medications was ready to go, and as I slid down the back wall of the tub, I mentally prepared myself for what was to come. I swallowed my pills, about 3 months worth of different antidepressants, antipsychotics, and mood stabilizers, and laid back into the water. As I sat and sat in the bath, I could feel my body begin to relax, and I simply fell asleep. I don't remember dying, but I do remember feeling completely calm. There was an overwhelming sense of peace and nothing. I don't remember waking up in this new world, but when I did become conscious, there was a feeling of weightlessness overtaking me, followed by complete blackness. I floated around in that darkness for a long time. It wasn't much, but it was better than the hell that I called my life. The darkness expanded on forever. No sense of time, direction, or anything really. That was good, for at least I felt good. Eventually, a small pin of blinding white light appeared. Since I was unsure of my surroundings, I thought that maybe it was the next step. The blinding white light that always is spoken of in movies and TV. So I willed myself towards it. I don't know if I was moving towards it or it to me, but eventually I seemed to be right in front of it. I don't know why, but I forced myself into the light. I guess to see just how far down the rabbit hole went. I finally passed into the light, and everything had changed. The sense of peace and the darkness were gone. It was replaced with urgency in a white, sterile location. I could barely make out where I was. My vision was hazy, and I could hear was a faint static. It was coming from all around me. I don't know how, but I was back in my body. I tried to move around to see if I could make out where I was, but my body was stiff and wouldn't respond to any attempts of any movement I made. Finally, a small voice broke through the static. "She doesn't seem to be responding to any treatment. What do we do?" It was a low and booming voice, one I didn't recognize, and I assumed that it must have belonged to one of the people who found me. In the distance, I could hear a woman softly weeping. Was that my mom? I seem to have blacked out, because the next thing I remember is hearing the sounds of a hospital. I tried to call out to the person attending to me, to tell them to just let me die, but my body still refused to respond. I could hear the sounds of doctors, of a defibrillator charging up, but above all else, I heard that static. Suddenly, the static sound became more and more intense,
and I felt a foreign sense of pain coming through my chest. Was this what the afterlife was? An eternity stuck in your dead body? Well, the pain quickly subsided. "She's not responding to any treatment," a voice spoke. She sounded calm, sort of, with hints of determination and sadness spiked underneath. Was she my doctor? Why could I hear them? Was I stuck between two worlds? Again, I tried to speak, but to no avail. So, was this it? The ending I wanted so badly? Had my story come to a close? Was I stuck listening to the world? What is going to go on without me? Now, her name was Michelle Gray. She wasn't even 17. This voice, young, probably not much older than me. I assume he must have been a nurse, a med student maybe. Someone being prepared for the horrors of the field that he had chosen. Well, the hospital released my body to the family, and I seemed to fade in and out between hearing the world and hearing that static underneath. My family had made plans for a funeral home to take care of my final rest. So I guess on some level they saw this coming. My body was prepared by the funeral home, made to look good for my family and the little friends I had who would be coming to my final send-off. After the funeral, my casket was loaded into a hearse and driven across town. At first I thought, we're going to the cemetery. However, when I heard them unloading my coffin, I knew I was being carried inside of a building. I could feel heat already. I was about to be cremated. As it turns out, even when you're dead, you still feel certain things that affect your body. I'm sure if I had just been put into the ground, well, I had eventually felt the worms crawling through me, sliding over my rotted skin and flesh, into the very marrow of my being. Oh, the heat grew hotter, and I could begin to feel the flames as it licked at my legs, danced across them, in a magical way like fire does. It was quickly spreading. Soon it engulfed my whole being. If I still had the ability to scream, I would have been screaming my lungs out. I felt every inch of skin cooking and felt my inner organs turn to ash. The pain was absolutely unbearable. A form of hell that I would hope no one would ever experience. The pain, the torture of feeling your flesh just roast away and knowing there's nothing you can do to stop it. It was unspeakable. Finally, the pain diminished. It would have disappeared completely. I realized my physical body had become ash. It's funny. I was reminded of that old saying, "You are dust, and to dust you shall return." Oh, if only I knew while alive how much that would be taken so literally. They finished my creation, and I realized I was being placed in an urn. The static overtook me again, and it wasn't until I could hear the plating being put in place in that burial niche that I finally knew where I was. The first voices I heard scared whatever part of me that still felt fear. They sounded closer than the static, yet they were muffled. Slowly, they began to grow louder and clearer, and eventually I could hear them as clear as day. They were the voices of my fellow dead, and they were screaming. Some of them screamed for God, others simply quiet. Even more scream to return to the nothingness that we all began this new life in. The screaming, oh, the screaming never ended. And eventually, I join in too. So I ask you again, do you believe in the afterlife? I warn you now, it's not what you think it would be. Your body may die, but you don't need to end up in a better place. Pray all you want. But I tell you, hell is real. And that's where we all go. Do you believe in the afterlife? Maybe yes, maybe no. Who's to say? Well, we're back. Whether you believe or don't believe, it does give one pause to ponder for sure. We want to thank you so much for viewing with us tonight on Eerie Hour with Erich. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and check out the channel. Feel free to share the video. Like us on both Facebook and Instagram. And as Erich always says, dreams can become reality, but dreams can also become nightmares. But can nightmares become reality? Well then, you be the judge.